You now tuned in to the Gumptown Podcast. I'm your boy Doug B. We ain't got nothing to talk about, but we got something to talk about. Let's go. Good people. Welcome back to the Gumptown Podcast, episode 132. I'm your boy Doug B. If you tuned in to this podcast, thank you for your time and your attention. I really appreciate you giving this podcast a shot. Today's guest is the founder and owner of Shaxor Enterprises. I'm looking forward to this conversation, and I'm sure we'll all be inspired by her story. Let's chop it up with LaQueta Savage. LaQueta, how's it going?
It's going good, Doug. How's it going?
Glad to hear that. All is well on my end, too. First things first, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to chop it up with me. I really appreciate it.
No problem. I'm here for you.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm here for you.
Yes, ma'am. Of course, here to talk about Shaxor Enterprises and all the great things you have going on in business. But before we talk business, let's get to know the woman behind the brand. So you were born and raised in Pensacola, Florida. What was your upbringing like down in Pensacola?
You know what? Fishing. Growing up, I was the only girl. I come from all boy families. Had a great mother. I fished a lot. Swimming, fishing, boating. Fun fact, and I've said this a few times, I actually learned how to drive a boat before I learned how to drive a car. The Florida way. And that's just, people might think that that's weird, but that's actually kind of normal from where I'm from. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. So you were out on the water, living that Florida life, enjoying life. Sounds like you had a great village coming up in Pensacola.
I did. Family is really, really big to me. I got two brothers, Eric and Ray, and, I had great brothers. They was the big protectors, and, everybody said, well, you kind of spoiled. Well, it's their fault. I had a great dad, his fault. Great men in my life. My mom is my inspiration, and I recently lost her about a year ago. However, my mom was the first Black woman electrical engineer for the Gulf Power Crisp plant, which is a coal producing plant. And so, and walking in her shadows, you just have to thrive. You just have to keep going.
Yes, ma'am. Powerful story. I appreciate you for sharing that, and sorry for the loss of your mom.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And it sounds like you said to your point earlier, she just had a profound impact on you, and just the history that she made being electrical engineer first.
Correct. She was the first Black woman electrical engineer down at the Crisp plant.
Wow, that's amazing. That definitely would have been. That's definitely inspiration to have it in your household, have someone in your household that made history. So that's amazing that you were able to draw inspiration from that, and you had your brothers that protected you, and your dad that spoiled you. And hey, that's what it's all about. That's what family is about. That village that molds you and protects you and gives you that tough love when you need it every once in a while,
Yep, and that's exactly how it was. You summed it up real nicely.
Yes, ma'am. So you grow up, born and raised in Pensacola, finished high school down there. Did you go to college, do it in the military, or you went right to work?
So no, I had kids. I had kids young, but I did go to college. So I got pregnant young. I went to school. Like I said, family was everything. So I had Felix. And my first thing when I went to school, I actually majored in computer science. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to code and build computers. I always had a love for computers. And so that's what I went to school for. I ended up taking time after that to raise my boys. I did this thing. I read this article called Success by Six, and it was saying, parents should be home and mothers should, be there. And that's what I wanted. And so I took that time out to raise my boys. I have 5 boys. I gave birth to 5 boys. And so while I was doing that, and I'm going to be honest, I'm going to go ahead because I got to bring it full circle. Mm-hmm. Pensacola is a beautiful place to grow up. I mean, it's gorgeous beaches, and we have all kind of things growing up. Just, camping, that was life. But Pensacola is also riddled with systematic oppression. If and I watched my mom overcome a lot. And me and her story is similar. So um down there you could have a great degree, you could have a lot of things going for you, but we are really set up in a tourism hotel if you're not working in hospitality, because that's really all they had to offer was hospitality jobs there. My youngest son, being that he had autism, we'll get into that, but he had autism, and I found myself in Pensacola. I would get a great job, um, because I did computer work, but I would find a great job, but I couldn't hold it because my son's disability. I would always have to call out. He would go to school, and they would call me every day at the same time, and they would tell me the same qualifiers that made him have Asperger's. And I remember calling my mom and saying, "Mom, I'm going to lose it all." And my mom at this time, she was in North Dakota, and she said, "Well, baby, I'll come down and help." But it made me think of a lot. And this is actually what made me think about going into business for myself. And it was just that fact. I wanted to be able to be there for my youngest son who had Asperger's, and also be able to, provide. So I started off with JPM LLC, and it was a property preservation company down in Florida. And we partnered with the state, and it really wasn't nothing major. It was actually, bank assets, cutting grass, trash outs, whatever the bank needed us to do for a property. And I grew that. And I decided, I said, you know what? Well, I love this. And we did fairly well. And so I think midway through that is when I decided that I was going to change up some and also move to Montgomery. And I ended up going I worked at a marketing firm right before then. And I was learning all the different tricks to the trade. I started watching businesses. They had great service, great products. They had a lot of great things going for them. But one thing they didn't have was they couldn't compete mainstream. Like they couldn't compete with the mainstream companies in the industry.
Right.
People wouldn't know of them. It's a great, let's just use a cake baker. She had the best cake in Pensacola or the best cake in Montgomery, but nobody knew that she was even there because she didn't have any marketing, or her company was not set up correctly, or her marketing wasn't there.
Right.
And these businesses would fail. And trying to go back and say, hey, where's this place at? It's like they didn't make it, and you're trying to figure out why. And the main reason why was they wasn't set up correctly. And I think that was the birth of that notion of actually the Shakur marketing, which everybody in Montgomery, Pensacola, wherever know. I wanted to help business obtain professional marketing, get professional products, and still be able to afford it. I think a lot of people see Shakur and they think, oh, she charged an arm and a leg, but we really don't. We work with our clients. We got financing. We help our clients. And I think that's also what built us as strong as we are, because most of our clients, they're not just clients. They are part of the Shakur circle, their family. They know if they have a business, they need a logo, they need a campaign, they know that they could talk to me or one of my employees, and we'll work with them. We'll get them what they need to push it out. And that's what also, allowed us to grow as strong as we have. Now we do, we're in Montgomery, but we are national. We got clients a little bit of everywhere. I think Montgomery knows, I guess for a lot of the campaign work that we do. And we got quite a few businesses here too. But to be honest with you, we are national. I got one African company, and I took them in because a lot of people don't realize that Africa cannot sell goods like other countries. They can't take our payments. And I guess it also because they have a bad stigma of being scammers, but it's a lot of great people over there. And so I have one client who makes authentic Ghanaian art, and he sends it over, and I will send it out to wherever he needs to, send it out to, and help him that way. but I got clients all over,
Mm.
and I'm blessed to help them.
Yes, ma'am. That's powerful. I appreciate you for sharing your story, your upbringing, and being transparent about your story, becoming a young mom and figuring some things out, having a son with autism, and that being your driving force to go into business for yourself and being able to start Shakur Enterprises, continue to expand. And I just think that's great. And it just sounds like to me, you just always find a way, like no matter what life throw at you, you know how to pivot and adjust and land on your feet. That's dope. That's resilience. Love to hear those type of stories for real.
Well, you're right about that. I just have a lot of faith.
Mm,
Give up was never an option.
right,
Um, I went to I'm gonna say this, the greatest church, Deliverance Tabernacle, and I remember him saying, God is, and I know people kind of look at that, and I even look at that now, like, ooh, after last year, but he's not gonna put no more on you than you can bear.
right.
And he had to think I was a mighty strong person. I still don't see it, but he had to think I was a mighty strong person to get through some of them hurdles.
Right,
But I try to be very candid and honest and open with my story because I need everybody to know that it ain't all cakes and it ain't all glamour.
right,
Even now, then it wasn't easy, but it's not easy now.
right,
You know, um, you got to have faith and you got to trust. And I've always trusted. This is my analogy. I have kids. I want the absolute best for them.
right.
And sometimes my kids will call me and they'll say, "Hey, mom, you got 20," but I was willing to give them 100. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And so I kind of look at that like, even in my prayer life, I take that into the side of my prayer life. I don't ask God for anything in specific other than his will, for the simple fact I may be asking for 20 and he want to give 100.
Right,
So, that's just how I kind of take it. I know that he ain't brought me this far to just let me down, you know, to
yes,
leave
ma'am.
me, to lead me astray. So yeah. And that's why I have to be honest. A lot of people try to make it be, I don't know, unrealistic. A lot of business owners now, they watch these shows and they think that being in business is just all luxury and being a boss and
Right.
being this and it's not. It is not.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, trust me, I've learned that over the years. I still work a 9 to 5. However, I know a handful of full-time entrepreneurs, and it's tough because when you're a full-time entrepreneur, it's tough from a standpoint of you have freedom, but you also have to have the discipline to set a schedule, stick to it, and be willing to show up every day and do those boring things, whether you have one client to service, 100, 1,000, and it just sounds like you've been
that
able
is
to. Yes, ma'am. Go
that
ahead.
is it. That is it. I remember I made a post. I never wanted to forget. Like before everybody even knew, Shakur.
Hmm.
I remember making a post. I had been working from 7 in the morning to about 2 in the morning every day. I was putting in, the leg work. I was putting in structure. I was taking over territories. And when I say that, I literally would post up in another city and start my hub there. I got a saying, and I say it now inside of Shakur. We say grow faster. When we say grow faster, it's not like we're saying, "Oh, you're going to be a millionaire overnight," because no, that's not going to happen. That's not how business works. But we utilize those hubs, those already, territories that we didn't infiltrated, and we place our clients in them. So the legwork that I did, those 72s, was the legwork that I still use for my client.
Yes, ma'am. Powerful stuff. You just sticking to the
Yeah,
basics, going back to the
yeah,
basics. That's what it all comes down to. So,
correct.
Shakur Enterprises, you have a lot of things going on in business. So, which aspect of the business did you launch first? Was it the marketing, the logistics? Like, take us through that kind of chronological order of the businesses as you launched them under the Shakur umbrella.
So actually, the first was I do have a property preservation side. And so I did that. The market was saturated. So I did do that first, and then the marketing, and I even got a schedule now. After I launched the marketing, I started breaking down my schedules. I'll do this and I'll do this at this time and I'll do this at this time. And we got inside of transportation, well, inside the logistics world, and we did really, really well. And I came back to the table. I remember praying on it one night, and I said, I feel like I'm leaving a lot of money on the table. I kept saying, like, I kept going over my numbers, and I was grateful. I was like, God, I was grateful for leading me down this adventure. But I felt like, hey, listen, we leaving money on the table. So recently, I came back around and I started up Shakur Brokerage, and it was a reason. It's always a reason for why I do things. Once I went inside of that industry, I realized how much money they were making. Young. You have freight agents, you have dispatchers, you have brokers, you have all these people, and they're making a good income. And then when I look back at the base and back at our community, these are not jobs that I hear them talk about often. They're not, they're not thriving for logistics, and logistics is $1 trillion industry. So when I
Mm.
went back, I was like, I had to think about it. I was like, okay, I had to really sit down and go over the numbers. Like, okay, well, if I do this and I do that, right now I have 4 people in logistics school, um, and I'm hoping to better the market. Right now, it's a lot of truckers who's not making the money that they deserve because you had people taking money from them. So I wanted to open up a brokerage that was transparent. I wanted our drivers to know, because it was a lot of our drivers who was getting taken advantage of.
Mm.
They was barely making the gas for the trip to do the trip. And
Wow.
even though the FMCA, they're trying to fix it. So that's where the brokerage side come in. And I've been blessed ever since day one, me even saying anything. I've had drivers contacting me from all over. And I think that that is a blessing, especially during a time when people are having a hard time finding people that God has favored us to say, hey, listen, heard of that company, Shakur, where they're taking drivers now.
Hmm.
Um, and then as far as dispatchers, I got 5 boys and they always asking for money. Hey, it's time for you to learn something. So the dispatching, you can do dispatching,
Mm-hmm.
learn how to do a trial, learn how to get these workers, these drivers out there and make their money and make your 10%.
That's what I'm
Um,
talking about. Mama put them boys to work. I love it. That's what I'm talking about.
Listen, got to, they said they appreciate it more when they make it.
Hmm. Right.
And I've already done that, giving it to them, and it don't work. They don't appreciate that at all. As a mama, I had to learn from experience. Don't give it to them. Make them work for it.
Yes, ma'am. Much respect. I mean, just hearing you talk about all your businesses that you come up with, it just sounds like you were paying attention and you've identified a problem that needed to be solved and you were willing to come in and solve that problem. And that's really sounds like that's the basis of all your businesses being willing to come in with the marketing piece, helping businesses get their name out there.
That's also how you build the new giants. And
Absolutely.
I've always been a person that try to spread knowledge. If you can fix a problem, whether 100 million other people doing it, if you can fix that problem, you just made yourself the best at it.
Mm-hmm.
You just made yourself the next giant in that industry.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to explain that to people. I don't care how many cleaning companies they got. If
Right.
you can find a problem with this side of that industry and you can fix it, do that.
And guess what, LaQueta? When you fix somebody's problem, guess what they're gonna naturally do? They're gonna talk about it, word of mouth. And guess what?
Yeah. Yep.
You just got
That's
some more
how.
clients off the word of mouth advertising. That's why it's important
Yeah.
to solve problems. And it sounds like you've mastered that. That's amazing.
Yes. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am. So Shakur, what exactly inspired that name and what does Shakur mean?
Okay. So Shakur is actually Hebrew, the word Hebrew, and the word is black. So just the word black.
Okay.
Shakur. If you ever heard other people call it like Tupac Shakur, but I think his is spelled Shakur, but Shakur is Shaxor, and it's just the Hebrew word for black.
Mm.
And it's the reason behind it. As a community, and this is Black History Month. As a community, I wanted to help our community. I wanted my community to identify, and I wanted to help my community. It's different worlds between Pensacola and Montgomery, but it's the same problem. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am. It does.
So we've often been dealt the wrong set of cards in our community, in our culture as people. We are, never was always gifted the best circumstances of situations here. So a lot of when I talk about these are businesses I've seen within my community, business owners that look just like me, just like you. It doesn't mean because I have clients that are not African American or Black or however. Um, However, it was meant to fix that gap. Just like EWN, it's a lot of stuff I start and do because I see a problem in our community. Now you have great businesses, great branding and representation, but then you have a really bad uh, character behind it. Like, have you seen this new one? The lady had the influencer come out to a truck and he left like $5,000 and he said, leave it here and give this to this person and give this to that person. And she devoured and destroyed her own business with 30 seconds of getting online saying she wasn't going to honor the man's wishes.
Yes.
And and the thing about that is you see that a lot. Our first thing is you see a lot of our businesses or business owner, they can't they can't handle business conflict on a professional level. It's
Right.
always I'm gonna tell them off, and it destroys their business and their business character. And I hate seeing it. Um, I hate seeing that. It's always a way to handle something. I done had difficult clients, but truthfully, I done had great clients. I done had difficult clients, but I even got clients that they might not, they might change their mind and come back with a whole nother business idea, but they always come back. Um, Out of Maryland, lady calls me and it was because of a client that I had in Texas, is how you handle it. And I thought that client was difficult. I wasn't sure how that client, looked at me, but I always carry myself through love and kindness, how I draw me. And I gotta understand that this is more than me. This is my brand. This is my legacy. I'm not going to destroy that with a misunderstanding or being upset or you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Emotional aspects of it, if that makes sense.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. And that's amazing that you came up with that name and what it means and wanting to help the community. And yeah, there are a lot of things that we we see go on in our community and it's and not to judge anybody, bash anybody. I know exactly what you're talking about, that particular situation with the money situation. It's just one of those things where you can't let greed get in front of your principles because greed will cost you
Correct.
and
Correct.
it'll put you in a situation where it puts your it puts your integrity at stake because basically if somebody comes and blesses your business and say do one thing with it, you should do that. And that's just a lesson just in life.
Correct.
And this and
Correct.
yes, ma'am. And it even comes back to when you're doing business and you have a client or a customer and you're making a promise that you're gonna do XYZ service for them that they pay you for, you should have some integrity and come through for that client. And if you can't do it, say, hey, here's your money back. I wasn't able to fulfill the request this time.
That's
Just don't let
correct.
greed take you
That's
out, you know?
correct. Correct. That's exactly what I'm stating.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct.
So all the great offerings that you have in business, all the great problems that you've been able to solve, I want to go back a little bit. So just in terms of, I know you were talking about your mom making history being first electrical engineer, electrical engineering in the state, county, but just the entrepreneurship bug, where did that come from? Or do you have entrepreneurs in your family?
So yeah, so when my mom retired, she started her own business.
Okay.
Let me see. So my dad, the man that raised me, Neil Moultrie, 'cause he owned his own business, and before that, he was a plant supervisor for American Sign, or also known as SciTech. And he was his own entrepreneur. So I get it from them. They did it when they retired. Me, on the other hand, I felt like I didn't have a choice.
Mm.
And when I'm saying that, I worked outside the home. I actually call working outside the home vacation. Working outside the house is vacation. A 9 to 5 is vacation, and that's why I speak to my clients, because I think that a lot of them think, hey, listen, it's going to be so much easier. But a 9 to 5, when you can go home and forget all that stuff and just watch a movie, that's bliss. Me, on the other hand, sometimes it'd be night and I'd be tired, but I have a deadline and it got to be right. And so until I get done is when I get to rest. So I do call jobs 9 to 5. I call them vacations, because at that time, if I'm not, I'm taking a break. I'm taking a break. If I take a 9 to 5, that means that I'm taking a break from this. But I always felt like I really didn't have no choice. I had 5 boys. I wanted to raise them. Right now, I still get up and cook breakfast for my kids every morning.
Mm.
I still work on homework or whatever. I make time for them. I've never wanted my kids to come home and say, Mom, we never saw you, or Mom, you was never there. I never wanted an issue to come up that I could say I didn't know nothing about that. So I have people in and out, and it was like, and when people spend a lot of time close to me, they was like, "Oh my God, you still." And I was like, "Yeah, I still cook dinner. I put dinner on every day around 2. Tonight was beef stew, you know. I still want to keep that family aspect. Now, is it hard? I'm finna tell you, it's extremely hard. It is extremely hard, especially with the amount of clients. Right now, we have a 3 month long waiting list half of the time. But I paced it out where it actually is working for me. It works for my family. My son has a doctor's appointment. I'll be there. I had to find that spot in life, um, where it will work for my family and work for me. When I first started doing this, I didn't balance right. Right, my kids would see me working all day, and I realized that I hadn't spent no time with them that day. And I did that for a little while, and I was like, no, this is not right. This can't be right. And so I went back in and I kind of restructured how my life would look. So, Mondays, I might be working on this. Sunday, I might be working on logistics. It's just how my schedule run. But every day, I've cooked pretty much grits and eggs if I have to, depending on
Right.
what they want. I get up and I
Right.
and I keep that side, because I'm a mother first. I am
Absolutely.
I'm a mother first. But to be honest with you, in the beginning, when you got 1,000 clients and you got to produce, well, guess what? That's my decision. So if it runs me late at night, and I made these posts on Facebook so I could go back and say, do you remember the days where you used to have to be up to 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, sleep for about 2 or 3 hours, and jump right back up? I did
Mhm.
it. I did it.
Right.
It's nothing easy about entrepreneurship. And it's a lot of people who miss that balance. And because it's easy to miss it, it is very easy to miss it. But at the end of the day, my legacy is going to be my kids first. Then we
Right.
could talk about it.
Right.
So
Absolutely. And that's great that you were able to figure out that balance. Like you said, at first you had 1,000 clients and you really weren't
I
spending
wasn't
much
there.
time
I,
with your kids as you, yeah, as you would like to. But
I gave I gave my son a credit card and he handled dinner. He ordered pizza. I think the kids ate fast food for about a year.
but that
But
was
I was,
but that was temporary though. Like
yeah, that was.
they had to do that while mom was figuring it out. So don't feel no
Yeah.
type of way about it. Like you did what you had to do, and you basically say, hey, take this how we doing things for now. And while you were figuring it out, they ordered food on the credit card. So you all make you all made it work for you all
Yeah,
situation. And that's the best thing you can do in any situation. Do what's best for the family, and look at you now. Now you're able to cook breakfast for them every morning. So it's full circle now. That's amazing.
yeah, yeah. I done hired. I ain't had no choice. I done hired.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
yeah, you're right. I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that
Yes,
because
ma'am.
mothers are real hard on themselves. I
You're
look
doing
back
it.
on that time and I was like, oh, that was sorry. That was so sorry. Kids, they
LaQueta,
piece of advice.
you're doing a great job. You did what you had to do and you figured it out. That's the most important thing. It's not, I'm nothing in life is perfect. It's we all have trials and tribulations. We have hurdles, and the most important thing is you figured it out and you're doing a great job as a mom. And I just want to give you your flowers. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. So you doing great things as a serial entrepreneur and all the great problems that you're solving. And I know great things are coming down the pipeline. So this leads to my next portion, vision. What are some of your short-term or long-term goals in the entrepreneurship space that you feel comfortable speaking about?
So my short-term goals right now is so as far as the marketing, I'm gonna have to break it down a little bit.
Okay.
As far as the marketing, I want to be able to start producing circles. And what I mean by that is taking a group of people. And because a lot of times when we in this by ourselves, we kind of feel like we the only one. So I want to start doing I am kind of doing it small, but I want to put it more mainstream and start building up the Shakur circles. And these are circles of entrepreneurs in different industries, building, growing. Like when I say these particular clients, I'm talking about clients that's actually looking over to take over territory. So, which I mean is that is expand. You have some businesses that are local and they're doing great local and they're local businesses, but you have some businesses that could afford to grow and they can grow until other cities, and I want to put different clients in different cities and work on them as a team, if that makes sense. I always say we grow different because we move different. um and I know it kind of sounds odd, but it's not. So the Shakur circle would be them actually almost like marketing networking. Have you ever network marketing? It's sort of using that baseline and growing companies in different territories. So that's my short term goal for the Shakur marketing. Um, as far as the brokerage, I want to be able to secure, and I hope that people understand me when I say this. I'm looking for a company that want to do business with great truckers. And I don't, because my brokerage firm don't charge an arm and a leg, just like my marketing, but a transparent business transaction here locally. So if I have drivers that's here in Montgomery, I want to be able to partner with more companies and be able to have more local drivers here that want to be local. So that's it. So I'm looking to do more partnering in this short-term goal right now. I'm looking for more clients in that industry. Um, let's see. As far as dispatching, if y'all know anyone who has a truck and needs loads, call us. We're definitely open to taking on more drivers. You can contact me, you can contact Willie at any time, and we would definitely, do your trials. It goes off your preference. We're definitely here to work with you, make more money. And so those are all my short term goals.
Okay, sounds good. Those are some great goals you set for yourself, and I'm pretty sure you'll continue to expand and do great things with all your business endeavors. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. As we wrap up the podcast, I want to ask $1 million question, Laquita. I started this podcast to highlight the greatness connected to the city, whether you were born here or lived here for a significant period of your life, be it college, military, or work. You reside in Montgomery for the last 10 years. I want to ask you, what do you appreciate the most about the Gump?
Man, listen, the Montgomery itself is a peculiar, beautiful place. I have never been in a city like Montgomery. And at first, I wasn't sure what it was, but it is the people. Montgomery is full of great people. Like, man, listen, I surround myself around great people doing great things. I can't do it all, you know. Um, I think it is some of the most amazing people per capita in the nation. If I said it at one time. I said, I wish I could just take about 10, 11 of 11 people from here and take them down with me at home to make change. Montgomery is an amazing spot. Um, I love I love the city, the way that it's set up. I know that a lot of people see things negatively, but to be honest with you, Montgomery is beautiful.
Mm,
It is beautiful. The people that's in it,
mm,
it is beautiful. The more that they learn more unity and love with each other, I think that it could be better than a baby, Atlanta, because everybody try to reference Atlanta as far as business wise. But there's no way that you can't come to Montgomery and be inspired.
mm.
You got the EJI, you got everybody in their own lane excelling at their dreams. How can you not be inspired in the city of dreams?
Yes,
Montgomery
ma'am.
is one. So I mean that's how I feel about it, Montgomery. I don't plan on leaving. I love it. I hope, to find my niche and make it, that much better. But Montgomery is beautiful. It's a beautiful city to live. It's a beautiful family city. And I know that, everybody want to cry about the crime rate. However, that's a people thing. That's not and we can say it, we can try to blame, but that's not, oh, my mayor made it bad. No, that's a people thing.
Right.
We got to have pride in our city. We got to have pride in ourselves. We got to have pride in each other. We have to love each other. That's how we're gonna stop that. But Montgomery itself is beautiful, and the people in it.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. So how can the people connect with you, LaQueta? What are your social media handles and website?
Well, the website is definitely www.shakur.com. Also, you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all of them. I mean, we're around. Also, you can also call us at 334-781-8255. Um, Also, we have a Facebook page. You can contact me. Don't forget Willie, and we'll both make it happen. So, I mean, we're just look. You can also Google us. So, you can find us. We're there.
Yes, ma'am. And of course, I'll put all of the information in the description of the episode. Hey, LaQueta, thanks again for the conversation. I really appreciate you.
No problem. Thank you so much, Doug.
Yes, ma'am. Good people, that concludes another dope episode of the Gumptown Podcast. In the meantime, in between time, y'all know what to do. Be blessed, be safe, but most importantly, have the audacity to be you. Gone. Thanks again for tuning in. I appreciate your time and your attention. Until next time.